So, I guess, can you tell me your name?
My name is Bandlane Mutenda.
And where do you live and what do you do?
I'm living in the northern Limpopo province, the old vendor in the northern part. And then I'm the chairperson of the LCA Heritage Committee, which represents the Lemba Cultural Association, but I'm chairing the Heritage Committee of the Lemba community here in South Africa and also in Zimbabwe.
And can you tell me about the Lemba and who are they?
Yeah, the Lemba are being called by different names. Some say they are the Black Jews, and then the Senas, the Bashabi, the Basoni, the Ishes. So the Lemba community, they came here by trade. That's why they're called traders. And then they came from Jerusalem in 586 BC, and then they moved different places. And from there, they moved from Yemeni, and then they were called the Yemenite Jews, or the Senas, and they built the dam which is called Adramuti, and then they also at the area called Wat Masila, and then which is an Arabic expression, and in Venda, or they call it Pusela. That's the area between the valley and the sea, and they cross over the Red Sea. Some they departed to Ethiopia. They built Senna 2, Senna 3, and then they eventually went into Zimbabwe, where they built the Zimbabweans, and they are the miners. They are the people who have taught the people in Zimbabwe and also in South Africa for mining. There is the Palabora mine today. There is Chimbufe mine and Messina, which is a corrupt way, means Musena, Messina mine. And they also went and stayed at Mapungubwe, which is now declared as an international heritage site. And then at the Mapungubwe, there are some different, types of things which the Lembas used to do. The circumcision school or lodge, the pottery. And they were the first people to come first at Mapungubwe, and later on they came with the Singos in Venda. The Singos are the vendors. And then they came with them having the Ark of the Covenant. They would call it Ngomalungundu, which they used to beat, and then the Etians got them some tablets where they beat, and then the enemies just fall down. And this Ark of the Covenant is now at Zimbabwe Harare Museum, and then it is dated 650 AD, and it was not carried by the non-Lemba. If you are a non-Lemba carried it, you eventually die. And it was carried by I'm sure it's 6 people, and then it was not supposed to be sit on the ground. It always hang on the air. So the Lemba community, they've got their own dietary laws. They don't eat pork, they don't mix meat with milk, they eat fish, especially the scaled one, the one which has got some scales. They don't just eat each and every fish. And then they also eat animals, which Yahweh have instructed them. They don't, even the birds of the air, there are some birds that they don't eat, especially those which eat dead things. And then the Lembas, they've got their own intermarried. They don't marry amongst other community. They marry from their own cousins or the third degree. And then the Lemba community, they love themselves. They are people who have got peace with the people that they stay around with them. They are the people who are clean. They are hard worker. They work, they sweat for what they do. They don't want to be employed, they want to work themselves, as if the whole family. Now, they practice their Jewish life in their home. And then when they go to the public, they can learn from the public, but they practice at home. And the other issue that the Lemba have, they used to make their own way of praying at home, and then practice their own Jewish way. They pray more than 3 times per day, and then they don't work on the Sabbath day. I mean, on the Mass rest. And the Lemba community, you know, they circumcise their offsprings at the age of 8 because of the movement when they move from Sena, because of the warlords which they used to fight along the way. So they changed that one because of their movement. And then today they have also participated in the economy of South Africa because they are the business men and women. A lot of businesses in the far north has been established by the Lembas. Those people before, they were not having woos which they can have to plow in their homes. It was done by the Lemba because they were blacksmiths. And the Lembas, there are some people along the Tobacare. They build these Zimbabwe ruins, Machema, which is place of Shem, and then also the Zata in the Njelele Valley from King Limpopo. And the Lemba people, they are the advisors of the chiefs or headmen. They don't work in the orchard or the gardens of the chiefs. What they do, they give them pottery. And now, this Lemba community, they are the people who doesn't go to things which is not relevant to their religion. They practice their religion at home. And the Lemba community are the people who used to have their own cultural association, Lemba Cultural Association, which has been started for some years, in 1948. Till today, they gather. They have got their months to start the new year, which is September. Now, on the 8th of September, we were having our own new year. We don't have the same year with these other people from this country, because we know that our new year is in September, and then that's where we used to talk about the youth, how they should behave, how should we as Lemba men should do, and then we observe the moon. We observe the moon, and then we shave our hair. This is a symbol of respect to God. And then this is a symbol of showing that we don't, we have our own way of life. And in the same way, we are people who are very, 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 very special, because we don't just involve in things that is not having the Lemba practice. So our community, wherever they are, they speak the language of the next community, because the language is an art. A lot of Lembas, they speak different languages along this area, but they don't belong to them because of their language. And then I, myself, I can speak Shangan, I can speak Speli, I can speak Zulu, but I don't belong to those community. So many people used to challenge and say, you Lembas, why don't you speak your own language, which is Hebrew? And then we said, the language doesn't determine that we belongs to you, though we speak this mixed language, because the Lembas, they belongs to the Jewish community. It is long when they were departed from from Jerusalem. So we don't know our language, but mostly today when we greet each other, we say Shalom. That's the way all the Lembas today, they used to greet them as they are among this community. Wherever we bury, we have got our own way to bury. Our head should face Jerusalem. And then in our burial, we also put our totem, which is the elephant. And the elephant, the ivory of the elephant, it reflected that the Solomon's temple was built by the ivory. Now, we put the star, the elephant with the star together, showing that this is the Father and the Son. So the Lemba community have got different clans. They have got 12 clans. We have got Judah, the one who took the Lembas from Jerusalem. It's a corrupt way to say Judah. And then we have got Solomon. Solomon or Sermani is a corrupt way to say Solomon. The Matiba Professor Matiba were the leaders of the Lembas for some time. And then there were the people who used to make the Lembas to be together at Sweetwaters in Elim. All the Lembas throughout this country, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and other countries, they gather there every year. So the Lemba community are the people who honor their chiefs because they advise them. The Lemba cannot be accused or judged at our chief's scroll because they are the people who must have to judge. So that's why they are being respected. If you look, they don't have pigs in their homes. And even the chiefs, they don't have pigs in their homes. So there is ultimate difference with the community that we sit around with, because all the food that they eat, it must be koshered. They say yashinda mshavi. When they say yashinda mshavi, they say it must be slaughtered. And then if they're in the community or the chief, when they wanted to slaughter cattle, they called the Lembas, because the Lembas will not eat something which is not, taken out the blood. They must make sure that the blood must go out. They don't eat blood. So that's why today our identity is very clear. And the interesting part is that they participated in the developments of the community. Most of the Lembas, they are leaders. If you look now, in this province, Limpopo, the governor is a Lemba. And then we have got some ministers who are Lembas from the national government. For example, Joyce Mabudapasi is the Minister of Environmental and Water Affairs. We have got judges, we have got professors like Rudo Matiba. We have got doctors. So in our Lemba community, we encourage our offsprings or our children to go to school. That's the only weapon that makes them to survive. And then we encourage them to work very hard. Now, during the harvest, when we plow, we have got, they put all the places, those harvests in a place, and then from there, when they wanted to eat those harvests, they used to make sure that firstly they will tell you that now the harvest is okay, and then they make us to eat together. From there it means that it's open, now we can eat. And then during the time when they wanted to plant, they call all the Lembas to come with their seeds, and they put in the one same place, they stir them. When they stir them, they also give each and everyone a share to go and plant. So that's why the Lembas, they are regarded as the rich people in this community. Because when they plow, you find that they've got good harvests. And then whenever they work, because they love themselves, the Lemba community, a Lemba doesn't hate a Lemba. There is a proverb which says that Mulemba hagan mumwe. Mulemba hagan mumwe. That means that a Lemba Jew doesn't criticize another Lemba Jew. They say Mulemba hagan mumwe. In the same way, there is also a proverb. Of course, it's a expression. In Venda, they say Onaka Samulemba. This means that a Lemba Jews is beautiful. That's why the local community, they wanted to marry amongst ourselves. Now, from the Lemba, we convert the women. If we marry a woman, it must be converted. Mostly, before they used to put they open a door. When you enter that door, they close it, and then when you go that side, you are no longer there. And then they put some fires. This is a way of vomiting your culture and adopting our culture. They say now you are a Lemba lady, and then everything it will be done in a Lemba lady. We don't convert men to be Lembas. Only the female from other community. So that's how they do. And then the Lemba, before, from our oral history, they didn't want to have some children from other communities. That's why our fathers, they didn't marry non-Lembas. This has been started by the missionaries when they came here in Africa or in South Africa, when they started to impose Christianity, because the Lemba used to live their own life as it is, which is completely Judaism. They practiced their Judaism at home, and then our homes are served as our own synagogues, because we practice every Judaism at home. When we honor you, we just make a totroma. A totroma, we clap hands together and make like this. This means it's an honorary to you.
What? So you practice Judaism, but have many Lembas been to Israel? Have you been to Israel?
Myself, I was not in Israel. Some other Lembas, they used to go there. But very, very interesting is that during the our meeting, I mean at Sweetwaters, there are some rabbis from US, from different places like Uganda. They came there and then they show how everything in a Jewish way, especially in the way today they do it. But we have got our original way of life as the old Israelite life. That's what we are living here in South Africa. We use the completely original one even today. We don't mix our culture with some other people's culture. Some people they hate us. We are the most hated community in here because of our behavior, because of our culture. Because we don't want to mix our culture with some other people's culture, because our culture has been written in our hearts and it's automatic. Whether you like it or not, we don't eat swine meat with all these things which has been put in different fashion.
So, do you feel at home in Africa? Do you feel like you want to go to Israel, move to Israel, or do you feel like this is Africa?
Yeah,
South Africa is your home.
Yeah, because it is long we were here, because our forefathers came here in 900 AD. When they came here, we feel as if it's a safer place to stay, though we used to talk about Israel as our home, as our forefathers' land. But as we are now, we feel that we are safer, especially during this time of the new democracy. It's the only one which specializes and recognizes the Lemba community now. We were given our own, during the apartheid government, they used to say that we are the Kruger Jews. And then they wanted to give us a land. Now the chiefs, Mutenda, they didn't want that. He said if the government can offer us a land as a Lemba community, he will not accept to the republic, the then Republic of Venda. So, and then he said, how could I can rule Venda, whereas the Lembas are not within me because I'm within their jurisdiction. So, and then that's where the Lemba were not offered the land by then. They have strived. We were having our own ID books. Our forefathers, my father, was having ID books, which denote Lemba community, say Lemba. So they were cancelled after the inception of the Homeland Administration of Venda, during the time when they were putting these homelands in place. So those references were cancelled, which reflect that the Lembas are not the Vendas, they are the black Jews of South Africa.
So what does it mean for you to be Jewish?
To me, it's life. To be Jewish means that it's my identity. Because I cannot throw away my identity. Because, the culture is a pillar, it's a vertebrae. Because even though our forefathers moved from one place to another by different times, the roots of our culture and our identity remain the same. And then, because we are following our forefathers, Moses and Aaron and even Abraham, because Abraham is our forefather, we cannot become astray. We cannot move away from the old ways that God, Yahweh, Maliwadenga has given us, because our community are being controlled by or get instruction from Yahweh, Maliwadenga, which means God, because they were the people they were a chosen people to follow what God has said. We cannot go away from this. Whether it's blue, black, or dark, we cannot be swayed away from our own being. And then a culture is a pillar, it's a vertebrae, and our identity is our own. It's like when we say Mutenda, it's my identity, it's my heritage. When you say Lemba, it's my heritage. I cannot be swayed away and take some other people's culture and identity. So it's a way, it's a means of life. Now, there are many people today, they said the Lembas, they mix the religion and culture. If you look in the Torah or the Bibles which they read today, it's Jewish. They are talking about our life. They are talking about our forefathers' practice of life, which is practical. So we cannot go away from that. That's why the whole world, even though some they don't think that they are following it, they are following Jewish life in their churches, everywhere, each and every corner, when they spoke about life, because our life or our Jewishness show how people should live in the world. That's why today they follow the Old Testament, and today they call it New Testament. It's Jewish. Even some in the Christian world, when they talk about Jesus, he was a Jew. He buried in a Jewish way. He eat in a Jewish way. And then he spoke the language of that time in a Jewish way. And he knew himself that he's a Jew. If you look at Timothy, whom they used to talk about, though he was not a Jew, but he was circumcised. Paul made him to be circumcised so that he must be accepted amongst our Jewish. Because in the Lemba community, if you are not circumcised, you cannot become a leader. You cannot lead them. And a circumcised person is undisciplined. Today, here in South Africa, the Lembas are the people who have taught these people to circumcise. They circumcised the Honorable Chief Makado in 1854, and they make him to be a king. And they call him Mulembana, means a small Jew. And then from there, all the male were circumcised in the bush, while we were circumcised in our homes. They put us along the fence in the age of 8. So a lot of people have taken a Lemba Jewish tradition here in South Africa. They shave their hairs. You cannot find a chief shaving a hair, but they've took these things from the Lemba tradition. Even now today, when they speak about the HIV, you know that the Shonas, they don't circumcise. But today they are compelled, and the Karangas in Zimbabwe, they are compelled to circumcise their offspring because of the Lemba tradition. This means that our forefathers had been instructed by Yahweh, Mwaliwa Denga, God, to circumcise them. He knew that there are some diseases before, for some 1,000 years, not today.
Well, thank you very much.
No, thanks very much.